Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fudge Muppet. My name is Scott and we have been scouring through the Skyrim Anniversary Edition's new content, and last week we had an in-depth look at the ghosts of the Tribunal. And this week we are looking at the other large-sized piece of content, a questline called The Cause. This, like the previous, is a hell of a nostalgia trip, especially if, like me, you began your love of the Elder Scrolls with Oblivion back in 2006. It has Mythic Dawn, Ayleid ruins, and even the realm of Mehrunes Dagon himself, the Deadlands. There are new weapons to be found, new adventures to be had, interesting lore to uncover, so let's dive straight into this walkthrough. Now, finding this quest is going to be rather easy. It's actually going to find you. This is a late game quest, and when your character hits level 46, a courier will deliver you this stranger's plea. I come to you with an urgent plea. I have done unspeakable things which I have come to regret, and the consequences are imminent. If you know of the Oblivion crisis, then you know I make no jest when I say the fate of Tamriel is at stake. It would be safer for us to speak further in person. Please meet me at the shrine to Stendarr, located between Fort Greymore and Rorikstead. I will lay bare my sins in Stendarr's presence. Perhaps he will grant me forgiveness. Skorvild. So Skorvild here had joined the newly reformed Mythic Dawn. Time to go to Stendarr's shrine and save Tamriel by meeting with this Skorvild character. Between Swindler's Den and Sleeping Tree Camp, you'll find this shrine, and you will be attacked by two Mythic Dawn assassins, and you will come to the realization that Skorvild is dead. But thanks to the power of the written word, we can discern what this fellow wanted because he left a detailed journal. If you are reading this, it means they may have reached me first. The Mythic Dawn do not tolerate desertion, a fitting end for my transgressions, I suppose. If you know of the Mythic Dawn, you may have heard that the cult was eradicated long ago after the Oblivion crisis of the Third Era came to an end. This was true until perhaps 1 year passed. As discord began to sow in the land of Skyrim, the whispers of Mehrunes Dagon made their way to the ears and mind of a fervent worshipper named Vonos. These whispers led him deep underground to an ancient Mythic Dawn temple, long since collapsed, where rumors spoke of an Oblivion gate lying in ruin for centuries. Vonos soon made a pact with Mehrunes Dagon and began to quietly reform the Mythic Dawn as its new leader. He began to cultivate more members to the cause, and I myself fell victim to the promise of such power. After the Oblivion crisis, the gates throughout Skyrim were buried deep within the lands. However, with much effort we retrieved many of these pieces and successfully rebuilt an Oblivion gate. Vonos, a master of conjuration, has been working tirelessly to open the gate and give Mehrunes Dagon's troops a doorway into Tamriel. As dictated by the pact, the cleansing of the Oblivion Gate required a personal blood sacrifice from each of us to prove our devotion. Blinded by ambition, I offered up my own brother, Soon, a simple farmer who could not harm a Dartwing. Watching the knife penetrate his body sent shock and horror through my entire being. The blood that spilled from his loins was that of my blood. In that moment I realized what I had done. It was not power that bewitched me, but deceit. As an acolyte, I was not privy to much information, but I know that Vonos is searching for a powerful, ancient artifact that is necessary to open the gate. What that artifact might be, I do not know. I heard something about an excavation camp to the southwest of Ivarstead, near a mountain pass. Perhaps more information can be found there. Lastly, in order to keep its location secret, all but the highest priests in the Order are blindfolded when taken to and from the Oblivion Gate, so I have no further information to give as to its whereabouts. I only know it was a cave. I wish I could tell you more. I've been on the run day and night, and now the Vigil of Stendarr are also on my trail. I can only imagine what they might do to someone like me. So I come to you with my plea, someone who might better understand my plight. Please stop the Mythic Dawn however you can. For myself, my forsaken brother, and the whole of Tamriel. Skorvild. So Skorvild here had joined the newly reformed Mythic Dawn and chickened out after things got far too real, and he tried to flee the cult and seek help from you, but alas, he was killed too soon. But let's actually bring everyone up to speed with the lore context. The Mythic Dawn was a cult led by Menkar Cameron in the Third Era, and their actions are what led to the Oblivion crisis that ended the Septim dynasty. At their core, the Mythic Dawn were a cult dedicated to Mehrunes Dagon, but not just for reasons such as they love being evil with lava and dark towers and demonic imagery, but rather they have a very different view of Mundus compared to most. Whereas most cultures revere the divines or Aedric beings in whatever name they may be known by, the words of Menkar Cameron teach that Mundus is actually an Oblivion realm, and that Lorkhan is its Daedric prince. He is the rightful ruler of this realm, and the Eight are the mere pretenders and usurpers who betrayed Lorkhan at the dawn. They worship Mehrunes Dagon and seek to bring to fruition his conquest of Tamriel so that a new dawn can come about and the traitors can be cast down by the Prince of Revolution. Obviously, the full extent of the Mythic Dawn's plan was not realized, Menkar Cameron was killed, the Oblivion crisis stopped at great cost, and the cult would be hunted down and largely eliminated for centuries afterward. But now it would seem that this Vonos has revived the cult and is attempting to open an Oblivion gate. Let's see what can be found on the bodies of these assassins. There have been whispers of traitors among our ranks, pathetic attempts to sabotage our mission, but nothing will stand in the way of Lord Dagon's Valkin. Your duty is to seek out those who oppose us and eradicate them. Acolyte Skorvild and Priestess Enakane have gone missing. Find them. If there is any scent of betrayal, they must be swiftly destroyed. Afterward, travel to the excavation camp to await further instruction, but take the utmost precaution. The Vigil of Stendarr have increased their activity and may be aware of our presence. The dawn is breaking. Vonos. Before you leave, you may as well pick up the Mythic Dawn robes because this outfit will come in handy as a disguise later. So we also know that the Vigilant of Stendarr are aware of this cult's reformation and are actively working against them. And you may well know that the Vigil are Daedra hunters formed shortly after the Oblivion crisis. Perhaps we will encounter them along the way, but now let's travel to the Rift, to the Alchemist's Shack, where we can travel to the hidden Mythic Dawn camp and continue following the trail. March up the mountain, fight the cultists, and read the Excavation leader's journal in the camp tent. Second Sun's Height, Year 201 of the Fourth Era. The dawn is breaking. Vonos has successfully pierced the veil of the liminal barrier, but there is much work to be done. We have unearthed an anchor point, but must still reconstruct the gate itself, and even when it is complete, the veil of the liminal barrier remains. Vonos, in his infinite wisdom, continues to work day and night to find a way to break it. It may be but a singular gateway, but Valken Gatanus and Methats await us on the other side, preparing to march for our Lord. I will keep the faith for Lord Dagon. 10th of Sun's Height. Vonos has been studying all known information about the Mysterium Xarxes, consulting with Dagon's Dremora and experimenting tirelessly, but is still unable to open the gate. However, he believes that an object may exist which could be strong enough to hold the portal open. What kind of artifact could hold such a power? Even 1,000 soul gems would likely dissolve in the presence of a sigil stone. We must redouble our efforts. I have sent additional scouts to Solstheim and Cyrodiil to learn anything they can. 20th Sun's Height. One of my scouts have returned from Bruma with promising information. The ancient Ayleids are well known for their Welkin stones, rare ethereal fragments comprised of powerful meteoric glass. A great Welkin stone, the most powerful of these stones, was typically held within the heart of each Ayleid city, but these stones have long since been plundered or lost to time. Researchers have speculated for centuries that more great Welkin stones may exist, but none have ever been found. The last great Welkin stone seen on record was in the Third Era, when it was snatched and used to bring the downfall of our Lord. Then it was ultimately Mehrunes' undoing, but irony may be smiling upon us. Something of such power could be exactly what we need to bring the gate to full power. One researcher has set their sights on the ancient Ayleid ruin of Rielle as such a place where a great Welkin stone may exist. Many have explored its depths through the years, though none have ever found a trace of such a thing. Could a great Welkin stone truly be hidden within Rielle? I've told my scouts to capture this researcher and bring him to me. We must learn all we can. Second of Last Seed. My scouts captured the Ayleid researcher from Bruma, but upon returning, the Vigil of Stendarr were seen guarding the Pale Pass. My scouts had to detour through the wilderness of the Dural Mountains to avoid them. Could the Vigil be aware of our movements? Is there a traitor among us? We cannot risk any sort of confrontation with the Vigil until we have the full might of Dagon behind us. There is too much at stake. While interrogating the researcher, I learned that Rielle is structurally weak, making entry difficult. Within the Vigil blocking the Pale Pass, this greatly inhibits our expedition. He also spoke of other dangers, but I dare not repeat them, lest I give substance to his ravings. We must find a way into Rielle. Vonos and I have agreed that we have no time to waste. I have selected only our most trusted disciples to set up a base camp in the mountains west of Iverstead. We will operate under the darkness of night to excavate our own pathway through the Dural Mountains and into Rielle. It will take time, but it is the only way. 14th of Last Seed. After much blood and sweat, we finally breached Rielle through its northwest corner, but the challenges within have proven to be quite deadly. The only man who returned alive claimed he barely escaped the clutches of an undead monster. Several have gone inside, only to never return, and I am unsure how many more souls I can spare. All this, and yet no signs of a secret chamber or welkin stone. There are legible portions of untranslated words on the pages retrieved from the researcher in Bruma. I've summoned one of my best scholars, Janus, to assist me in the Ayleid studies. Perhaps there is something we are missing. 15th of Last Seed. According to the books Magic from the Sky and Glories and Laments, the ancient Ayleids believed that Nirn was composed of 4 basic elements: earth, water, air, and light. Janus and I feel this is extremely important, may be the key to obtaining the stone. The incomplete text recovered from the researcher in Bruma make mention of previously unseen elemental shards. But what are they? Where are they? We will prepare another team to descend upon Rielle with this information. We're running low on supplies and may need to delay the search if we lose any more men. 17th of Last Seed. Vonos has sent an urgent communication. The vigilance of Stendarr have increased their presence and have been seen questioning townsfolk. Acolyte Skorvild and Priestess Enakane have gone missing, their whereabouts unknown. It is best for us to assume the Vigil knows of our plans. There is no time left to delay. Janus must join one last expedition team to locate the Great Welkin Stone. I will send the last of my guards along with him as protection. This is our last chance. Dagon, give us strength. As you can tell, there is a lot of journal reading in this little expansion. So now we're headed to Varley's Cavern, where we can enter the Ayleid ruin of Rielle and find this great Welkin stone. Rielle, in the language of Ayleidun, translates to beauty, and you may have actually been to this location before, in the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, northwest of Bruma, in the mountains. Well, we're entering the very same ruin, just from the other side of the Dural Mountains, the Skyrim side. We will make our way inside and witness the crack in the wall that opens into the beautiful Ayleid ruin, and you will have to fight your way through the ancient enemies of man, the Ayleid wights that still roam the halls. Eventually, we will make our way to Janus and read his journal. 15th of Last Seed. I was called upon to assist with the Rielle expedition and have been studying urgently and without rest. I was entrusted with a page from an ancient Ayleid text retrieved from a researcher in Bruma. My Ayleidun is not very good, but I was able to understand something about elemental shards and sleeping guardians within the ruins. None of this would be a problem if Vonos had granted me more time, but he and our Lord are impatient. But I will make do. My research is what matters. The Ayleids believed the 4 elements to be air, water, earth, and light. From what I understand, shards representing these 4 elements may serve as keys to certain hidden chambers. It is fascinating to ponder how many great Welkin stones may be hidden among ruins thought to be barren. If there is a hidden chamber within Rielle, this might be how they are opened. But how? Where? At the cost of their lives, many of our disciples have searched nearly every corner of the ruin, but have yet to discover anything. I will study the texts further. 17th of Last Seed. Vonos had issued urgent orders to descend upon Rielle with the last of our expedition team to try and find the Great Welkin Stone. I am to go with them and lead the team. The Vigil of Stendarr are assumed to be on our trail, so we must act quickly. I must not allow this latest wrinkle to deter my research. It is almost within my grasp. 17th of Last Seed. Woe to those who entered before me and met their fate. I imagined not the horrors that awaited me. Our persistence in this expedition has awoken Ayleid wights. guardians who have lied in wait for untold centuries, sealed in their sarcophagi, awakening to protect the ancient powers within. And yet all is not lost. I found our welkin stone holders in Rielle crypt, each coloured gold and positioned to the north, south, east and west. The directions correspond to each of the 4 elements. North, upward to the air, well in the sky. South for the earth, Sursen under our feet. East for the light, Alata, of the rising sun. West for when the water, Nen, devours it. A diagram in the Ayleid text matches this pattern. If these shards are retrieved and placed in the correct holders, I believe the secret chamber containing the Great Welkin Stone will make itself known. My team has been slain and I have been injured. A pity, as I have heard rumours of an area underneath the college where this stone could have been put to better use. I just need to hold out a little longer. Now we are going to need to fight our way through this ruin and collect the 4 elemental shards so that we may progress further. With the gear that we acquired in the Ghosts of the Tribunal add-on, as well as the setup of our recently released Hands of Almalexia build, these fights are a breeze. Do be careful to mind your step and avoid the fan-favourite Ayleid Roof Spike Smasher Trap. Now, place the Ayleid shards in the pillars with the respective elements. It's pretty straightforward, but you can just copy as I do. And then a secret passage will open, and there in the center of the hidden chamber is the Great Welkin Stone. But as we take it, suddenly, an Ayleid lich known as Norion the Undying will rise from his grave. Now we can fight him and permanently put him in the ground, and from his ashes, you will be able to acquire the Staff of Elno Edi. A unique Ayleid staff that sprays a wall of lightning and does 50 shock damage per second and absorbs 8 points of stamina per second from the target. Neat, but now let's get out of here. As you leave, you will notice some of the Vigilants of Stendarr fighting some Mythic Dawn members, and on the corpse of one of the Vigilant, you will be able to find this journal. 14th of Sun's Height. Our spies in the cities have reported hearing whispers of Mythic Dawn among the populace. Though the last of those abominations were slain hundreds of years ago, we must take all reports seriously and stay alert. 25th of Sun's Height. Word from our agents in Cyrodiil say that a band of mysterious travellers descended upon Bruma, where they asked a well-known researcher many questions about the Ayleids, the ruins of Rielle specifically. They also asked about great Welkin stones which haven't been seen for hundreds of years. I'm sending a few scouts to the Pale Pass to keep an eye on things. If there is darkness at play, the light of the vigil will find it. 2nd of Last Seed. The same group of questionable travellers was seen traversing the Pale Pass into Bruma again, this time under the cover of night. They were followed but were lost in the shadow. Our agents set up a blockade to stop and question all who passed, but the group was not seen travelling through there again. If they did return to Skyrim, they would have had to do so through the Rielle Mountains by moonlight. Stendarr have mercy upon anyone lost among those jagged slopes in the darkness. 3rd of Last Seed. The researcher in Bruma had gone missing, and I must assume it was at the hand of these mysterious travellers. If the rumours of the Mythic Dawn are true, Stendarr help us if they get their hand on a great Welkin stone. What could they possibly need such a powerful artifact for? I have dispatched agents and spies to every corner of Skyrim to inquire amongst the townsfolk and track anyone who is remotely suspicious. 10th of Last Seed. We have begun following a man named Skorvild. We believe he may be a Daedra worshipper and possibly a member of the Mythic Dawn. His brother was recently reported missing along with numerous others in the same time frame. We will follow his movements closely. 16th of Last Seed. After several weeks of observing various suspects, we decided to capture an individual believed to be a high-ranking member of the Mythic Dawn. She was clothed plainly and kept the guise of a merchant by day. We searched her quarters and found red robes bearing the sun symbol of Mehrunes Dagon. We also found a journal which claims that an Oblivion gate had been reforged, and attempts to open it are underway. I have decided to call for reinforcements. If what I read is true, the Vigil of Stendarr alone may not be enough to stop what is unfolding. This Mythic Dawn priest would not yield any information and died during interrogation. It was a slow death, but the Vigil has no mercy for Daedra worshippers. Can the power of a great Welkin stone be corrupted and used for their twisted purpose? This cannot happen. We must find this Oblivion gate. Within the journal was a torn page containing the following. In the shade of the Velothi, where rivers run black, sure stone at our feet, white shore at our back, Windhelm on our shoulders, beyond the fair night, before the dawn rises, red scars bleed the light. This could be a clue as to their location. I will send someone to investigate while I prepare a small regiment and determine our next move. 17th of last seed. 3 of my agents who were observing suspects went missing overnight. I believe they may have been captured by the Mythic Dawn. Senda have mercy upon them. We should have been more careful when capturing one of their priests, but we needed to act quickly. I have assembled a group to descend upon Rielle. We must act now. We may be able to ambush the Daedra worshippers. Lastly, one of my scouts believes the riddle does indeed point to the location where the Mythic Dawn are hiding. We need to approach with caution, lest we be outnumbered. Blessings of Stendarr upon us. Alright, it's time to head to Red Scar Cavern in the Velothi Mountains and stop Vonos from activating an Oblivion gate. You can wear Mythic Dawn robes here to avoid all of the fighting, or you can just fight your way through. The choice is yours. I chose to be 007 and infiltrate, but I had to pick my way through an adept lock into the Mythic Dawn temple itself. Here, in the temple, we see Vonos the Conjurer praising the unactivated gate in front of a sacrifice inside a ring of candles, Skorvild's brother. Once inside, you may as well swap into your actual armor or gear to fight, because if you approach, even disguised, Vonos will attack. Now you have to fight Vonos and the 2 Mythic Dawn members, but as you kill Vonos, the Gate of Oblivion activates. You have failed. It has begun. The quest, the cause, is now complete, and a new quest begins, called The Consequences. Retrieve Vonos' journal and read it. 3rd mid-year, year 200 of the 4th era. The voice of Mehrunes Dagon penetrates my dreams. At first it was a whisper, but has become a roar inside my skull. The seeds of strife and violence plague this land, the soil enriched by the blood of battle. Tamriel will soon be ripe again for the taking, for my vengeance is at hand, the voice says to me. I must heed this voice. What must I do, my lord? 12th of mid-year. I have spent countless hours, countless days in prayer to Dagon and have heard nothing. I finally took rest and had another dream. Dreams of fire, of smoke, heat upon heat. I was descending into a cavern further and further down. The heat began to cook and blister my skin, but I kept moving ever downward. Fire and smoke, heat and rock, and then I saw it. The very mouth of Dagon, an Oblivion gate. With a blinding flash, I then began to have visions of Akatosh, visions of dragons. What could be the meaning of all of this? I awoke covered in sweat, with a deep sense of purpose. I feel drawn eastward. I must heed the call. 15th of Sun's Height. Dagon's voice had led me to a cavern deep within the Velothi Mountains. His worshippers used to gather here. I feel their presence. I feel his power. An Oblivion gate is buried here. I can feel it. It is my destiny to reach it. I will spend night and day with pickaxe in hand until it is freed from this prison of stone. 6th of Hearthfire. For nearly 2 months I have toiled, digging deeper and deeper, stopping only to rest, stone by stone, inching ever closer to my destiny, ever closer to the fires of Oblivion. Others have begun to heed Dagon's call and have found their way here, to me, to our Lord. We are the high priests of the new order, the chosen few who are attuned to his will. As we traverse deeper, the remnants of an ancient Mythic Dawn temple are revealed like diamond from the rock. Priest Vitus was the first to discover the gate stone. My ecstasy was short-lived, however, when I found, like every other gate, it had been destroyed. Still, I could feel its power like heat against my skin. Many other pieces like this are scattered throughout the lands of Skyrim, buried deep, lost to time. We shall find them. We shall open the jaws of Oblivion once again. 4th of Morning Star, year 201 of the 4th era. Visions of dragons cloud my dreams once more. Images of Martin's septum and Akatosh that make my blood burn with anger and vengeance. Black wings unfurling against a red sky. I do not yet understand the meaning of these visions, but Dagon's hatred has become a burning coal in the pit of my stomach, driving me ever forward. 21st of 2nd Seed. Over the last several months we have searched the deepest reaches of Skyrim and have retrieved enough remnants of the various shattered Oblivion gates to make one whole again. Its very presence inspires power, awe, and reverence. A pact must now be made. Dagon requires that each of us offer a personal sacrifice, a blood offering to prove our dedication. With each soul cast into the fires of Oblivion, his power grows. The liminal barrier is weak here, and the turmoil and conflict boiling in the lands only weakens it further. I must now summon a Dremora Lord to acquire a sigil stone and find a way to open the gate. 10th of Sun's Height. I have performed the rites as dictated in liminal bridges, and successfully penetrated the barrier into the realm of Oblivion, but my attempts to use the gate as a vessel of transliminal attunement have failed. The portal to Oblivion is thin and temporary, as one might expect. I have smelled the sweet sulphur of the Deadlands, but only for fleeting moments of time. I have studied all there is to know of the Mysterium Xarxes. I have been to Dawnstar on countless occasions to observe its last remaining page, yet the necessary piece has remained a mystery. As I pray to Dagon for guidance and confer with his Dromora, I understand now that a sigil stone is simply not powerful enough on its own. Something stronger may be required to open the gate, but what kind of artifact could hold such power? I have dispatched the most loyal of my disciples to all corners of Tamriel to search for any artifact or source of power worthy of becoming the key to Oblivion. I must remain patient and trust Dagon's will. 20th of Sun's Height. I have received word from my scouts that a great Welkin stone may be hidden within Rielle, an ancient Ayleid ruin. Could this be the source of power needed to open the gate? It may very well be. How delicious the irony, an object once used against Dagon becoming the very thing that unleashes his power back into the mortal realm. My scouts are working diligently to uncover any further information they can, and as I continue to pray to Dagon for guidance, his voice says to me, "Patience, all shall be revealed in time." 2nd of Last Seed. Curse the Vigil of Stendarr. They have blocked the Pale Pass through the Dural Mountains, making access to Rielle an impossibility. We cannot risk exposing our plans. We must find another way. If we cannot make our way into Cyrodiil by road, we will do so by force directly through the mountains. We have done it once to get to this sacred place, and we shall do it again. I have dispatched a team to begin excavation immediately. 14th of Last Seed. Fevered visions haunt my dreams once more, and as the time draws near, I now understand what must be done. The Dragonborn prophecy foretells a chosen one who will come forth, their blood and soul blessed by Akatosh himself, the Dovahkiin. The time wound will open, and Alduin the World-Eater shall also return. Though both are fragments of Akatosh's soul, these two will wage war against one another, and as children of Akatosh they will reap the vengeance of Mehrunes Dagon. But pain and suffering nor death will satisfy, only the ultimate betrayal will suffice. To open the Oblivion Gate, a ritual of the highest order must be carefully designed. An artifact of untold power must be corrupted, a great sacrifice made, and above all the Dragonborn must become the unwitting instrument of Dagon's will. I will become the sacrifice, the final step, and as the Dovahkiin takes my life with blade in one hand and great Welkin stone in the other, they will complete the ritual and become the very key to opening the gate. The ultimate betrayal will shatter the liminal barrier, opening the Oblivion Gate and giving Dagon a foothold into the mortal realm while he rebuilds his armies. It is a divine plan beyond anything I could have comprehended. The world will be bathed in the fires of Oblivion, and the blood of mortals will be on the hands of Akatosh. None can be made aware of this plan. It is too fragile, too perfect. 17th of Last Seed. It has begun. Alduin has returned. Skorvild has been missing for several days. After witnessing his brother being sacrificed, his spirit broke and he deserted the Order, just as I planned. He will seek out the Dragonborn for help, and once his role has been fulfilled, he will be slaughtered. The Dragonborn in their arrogance will continue to be the embodiment of ambition, much to Dagon's pleasure. They will no doubt seek to obtain the great Welkin stone. They will then return to me, and when they do, the final act of the ritual will begin. Priestess Ennekane has been taken captive by the Vigil of Stendarr, but she too serves a greater purpose. Her spirit will not break, but she will lead the Vigil where they need to be to aid the Dragonborn. Where they will utterly fail, the Dovahkiin will succeed. Their success will be short-lived. The sigil stone has been destroyed, ensuring the gate will remain open. Moreover, two of Dagon's Dromora Valkenaz, Gitannis and Methats, are waiting in the Deadlands to lead the assault. They are the heralds of the coming siege, and through their works we will unleash a scourge of torment upon our Lord's enemies. The dawn is breaking. We have been played. This was the master plan of Vonos. He was the sacrifice that opened the gates, and we brought the great Welkin stone. The gate will remain open, the sigil stone destroyed. On the other side, in the Deadlands, two great Dromora Valkenaz, Gitannis and Methats, wait to begin their assault. Time to take initiative and make the first move. We will head into the Deadlands and halt the siege. Now, this is a truly nostalgic sight. The deserts of rust and wounds stretch for miles, with dark towers looming over rivers of molten lava, a realm of ash and sulfur. This is the home of Mehrunes Dagon. You will find many familiar sights, including the containers and plant life that attack you. Also, the Oblivion music, it's very nostalgic. But as you exit the cave, you will find a Daedric horse. Follow it, and it will lead you to the first of the Valkenaz, Gitanas. Kill him and his Daedric horse, and on his corpse, you will find a unique weapon, Scourge, a mace of sacred ebony, forged in the fires of Fickeldyre, an artifact of the Daedric prince Malakath. This weapon first featured in Battlespire, where it was used to help thwart the Daedric invasion. Its power banishes Daedra back to Oblivion, and for this reason, it is called the Bane of the Daedra. How strange that it is in the possession of a Dremora. How is this even possible? In the Book of the Daedra, it says, "Yet though Malakath blessed Scourge to be potent against his Daedra kin, he thought not that it should fall into Daedric hands, then to serve as a tool for private war amongst Caitiff and Forsaken. Thus did Malakath curse the device such that, should any dark kin seek to invoke its powers, that a void should open and swallow that Daedra, and purge him into Oblivion's void streams, from thence to pathfind back to the real and unreal worlds in the full order of time." In short, Gitanas should have been banished to the void the second he picked up this weapon. Perhaps he had found a way around its blessing and used this to his advantage against other Daedra, granting him the power to ascend to the ranks of Dagon's armies. Or perhaps it's an oversight of the law made when this Creation Club add-on was created. Think what you like. Pick up Scourge and move to the Punished on the right, and you will find the spell tome for summoning a Daedric horse. And there you go. You now have your own summonable Daedric horse. So we will summon that and head on over to the other side of this area, and you will find Valken Methats. He wields a Daedric longsword named Torment, and after defeating him and his Flame Atronach bodyguards, you will be able to pry the unique weapon from his now cold dead hands. This is actually a new unique weapon in Skyrim that does burn the target for 30 points of fire damage on strike, and if you look closely, you may realize that the weapon is almost the exact same model as the Daedric longsword from the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind. Now you can leave the Deadlands, but it seems the portal will remain open indefinitely, so you can return if you like. And as you make your way out of the cavern, you will have noticed that it has erupted into full-scale conflict as the Vigilants of Stendarr have assaulted the Mythic Dawn. You can help them if you like, or you can just leave, but that's basically it. Quest done. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the cause and the consequence complete. You now have Scourge, Torment, and the Staff of Elno-Edi. Honestly, of the two major new chunks of content in the Anniversary Edition, I do think the Ghosts of the Tribunal is the better one. More weapons, more armor, more quests, and more engaging lore in my opinion. I also have to say there is a little less in terms of options in this one. For example, in the Ghosts of Tribunal, you can destroy the Omsumi cult, or you can join them, and you can even get new followers and merchants if you do. But for this, it's kind of just destroy the Mythic Dawn and you don't really interact with any of the Vigilants. But I do have to say this one has some really cool environments, the Ayleid ruins, the Deadlands, both really great. So it's definitely a fun addition. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough and I hope you enjoy the new stuff. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Scott from Fudge Muppet. Like the video and I'll be back to nerd out with you again next time.